Hey, welcome back. Okay, we're going to keep going with looping and conditional statements. And in this particular one, we are actually going to do a conditional statement. So a conditional statement in a programming language is a statement that only executes upon some condition. And we use these all the time in everyday language. So you would say, well, if it's not raining, then I'll be there at 5. And that's, you basically check the condition. Hey, is it raining? No? Okay, I'll be there at 5. You know, if my car has gas in it, I'll actually drive over to the restaurant. Right? You go out, you check the gas gauge. Well, there's no gas. Well, I guess I'm not driving. Okay, so scrolling through all the stuff we've already done, let's actually build what a conditional statement in Python looks like. Right? Conditional statements in Python start with the word if. But I want to do something really simple here. So I'm just going to say x is a number. I'll say 0.325, whatever. It's a number, right? So I assigned x to some number. And now I just want to do a check. If x is less than a half, colon. I'm going to have it just say print x is less than a half. Okay, now that's really, really simple. That's all a conditional statement is built off of, and its simplest form. If I control enter to run that, it says x is less than a half. If I change that number to 0.925, it prints nothing. 0.10325, x is less than a half. Great. Okay, if you want to add a little bit more into it, I could say else colon print x is greater than or equal to 1/2. Okay, now x is less than a half. Let's make that a 9, so it goes the other side. X is greater than or equal to 1/2. So the syntax is relatively straightforward. If, then here's a condition that you have to meet. So let me open up a Scratch cell. Okay, I've showed you Scratch cells in the past. This is for us to do a little bit of Scratch work. If I just type x less than 0.5, that returns a false. So what my if statement over here was doing is says, hey, if, and then says, if I get a true here, do this. And then else says, hey, if you didn't get a true here, then do this. Okay, now we can make this a little bit more interesting. Let's make 1/3 the cutoff. Okay, less than a third. Now I'm going to do elif x is less than 2/3. And you would read this as else if, and then there's some condition, right? So I'm going to press enter, print x is greater than or equal to 1/3, but less than 2/3. And then here I'm going to change that to greater than or equal to 2/3. Okay, so my 0.90325, okay, it says it's greater than or equal to 2/3. That's a true statement. Okay, so let's say I put in something like 0.5. X is greater than or equal to 1/3, but less than 2/3. Certainly true. So let's go back to a Scratch cell here. Let's just double check that. X is less than 1/3. That should return false. And it does. X is less than 2/3. That returns a true. So what happens here is it reads into this, it says, okay, that dude was false. I'm not going to do this. This dude was true, so I am going to do this, and I'm going to skip the rest. Okay, so an if statement is a really nice statement that allows you to kind of branch your program into, if I'm in one condition, I want to do one thing. If I'm in another condition, I want to do some other thing. So let's put this into action with our newfound tool of loops and with if statements. So the collat sequence, this is a wonderful little mathematical oddity. It's called the 3n+1 sequence. I'm going to define a sequence that says my new term in the sequence is double my old term if I had an even number. Ooh, that's wrong. It is not double my old term, it's half my old term. Sorry about that. There. Half my old term if I'm even, and old term times 3 plus 1 if I'm odd. So I'm going to start off my sequence, x, and let's just pick a number, 9, whatever. And then I'm going to make a loop that loops through a whole bunch of numbers and shows me what the sequence, what the next term in the sequence is. So I'm going to do 4, n in range, let's just do like maybe 10, whatever. So I'm going to print my first term, and then I'm going to print the next term, but I have to print it in the right way. So I have to say if this thing is built on a conditional statement, so if xn is even, so my previous term is even, so if x modular division 2 equals 0, now think about that. Check to see if the remainder is 0 when divided by 2. Now notice there's a tab there. I'm going to say print, oops, I'm going to say x equals x divided by 2, print my x. Otherwise, now notice I'm not putting an elif here because if I'm not even, I'm odd, and I'm going to do this other one. X equals 3 times x plus 1, and print my x. Okay, stop and think about what this code is doing, how you might work with it, and let's see what it does. Okay, so in my collat sequence, I'm a 9. Well, that's not even, so I'm going to multiply by 3. So 9 times 3 is 27, plus 1 is 28. Okay, now I'm even. 28 is even, so I'm going to divide by 2, 14. 14 is even, so I'm going to divide by 2, 7. 7's odd, so I'm going to triple it and add 1. 21 plus 1 is 22. Then I'm going to divide by 2. Okay, well, that was only 10 of them. Let's see what happens when I get to 100 of them. Okay, let's come all the way back up. Whoa, 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 too much scrolling. Sorry about that. So 9, 28, 14, 7, 22, 11, 34, 17. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, 40, 20, 10, 5, 16, 8, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1. Cool. The collat sequence here converged to this cool little sequence of 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2. And we can try it with any other starting point if we want to. Let's try 13, see what happens. Ooh, it actually converged to the same little sequence. That's kind of cool. And it probably got there in a slightly different way. Oh yeah, it got there way faster. Okay, so this was a quick little introduction to conditional statements, if, elif, and else, with an example of a conditional statement using a for loop along for the ride. So I'm going to do one more video on a thing called the while loop. See you there.